Hello again, this is Michael Whitaker. This is photo post number 9 of the 21 posts I'm doing for LinkedIn and sharing on Facebook. The actual post that's published on LinkedIn and Facebook begins with a preface. The preface relates to the fact that someone sent me a message and asked me what I mean by captured image. It's a reasonable question. There's a lot of discussion around the difference between taking photos and making photos, and I just was not ever very interested in that. I divide my photos into two categories, two classes of photos. One is the captured photo, the other is a created photo. Captured photos represent my effort to sort of enshrine fleeting moments in time that I have not tried to influence. It has to do with my specific interest in doing candid photos, not photos that I stage and that sort of thing. So when I say captured image, I'm talking about capturing a moment in time in an event or in a situation that I was not trying to influence, control, or manipulate. In comparison, I also have created images. They're creative images. Those images I do influence and I do control. My preference is for captured images. That's why during this series of 21 photos, you will hear me talk so much about captured images. All right, for post number 9, I'm using the topic accurately representing reality, and I'll explain that as we go on. The image, the photograph for this post, I've entitled Nehemie and Kevin. It is a photo that is from a formal documentary project I did that is entitled Faces of Acing Autism Palm Beach. So as background for this photo, we have a grandson who was diagnosed with autism when he was 3 years old. His mother and sister and our grandson Max came to live with us when he was 9 years old, and they have lived with us for over 15 years. We don't actually live together. We share the same house, so it's not like they're living with us. We equally share the same house. So Max has autism. I deal with autism all day, every day. I used to tell people our grandson had been diagnosed with autism, and they say, "Oh, we're so sorry." And I've always said, "Don't be. We would not trade him for anything. He is an absolutely amazing individual." Max has very high intelligence. It's been assessed. Sometimes I think he gets tired of interacting with us, so he spends a lot of time alone. His favorite activity is on computers, and I say computers because he has two, and most of the time he's got both of them running at the same time. He's, lack of a better word, just outstanding when it comes to computers. Consequently, it's difficult to get Max to participate in physical activities. It's been an ongoing struggle for the last 15 years. When we were living in Vero Beach, Florida, I heard through a friend that Lisa, the daughter of a girl with whom I graduated high school, and also a friend of my wife before I met my wife, that Linda's daughter Lisa was running a program called ACEing Autism down in Palm Beach County, which is about 60 miles south of Vero Beach. The program was based around using tennis as a vehicle for getting kids diagnosed with autism to be more involved in physical activities. So we signed Max up for Acing Autism and drove him down to Palm Beach County. He's actually in Wellington, which was about 80 miles from where we lived. The sessions lasted about an hour and a half, and there were usually about 10 or 12 kids involved, but there were multiple tennis pros, multiple volunteers, parents, aides, and a lot of other people. So there was a lot going on in an hour and a half. At the end of that first session, I went to Lisa and I said, do you think it would be possible for me to create a documentary project about Acing Autism Palm Beach? There are other Acing Autism programs around the country. I was only interested in Palm Beach. She talked to the people that owned the facility we were using. She talked to the parents, and it didn't take long to get approval to start the project. When I was planning this project, the thing that had impressed me most during that first session was the dynamic interactions between the coaches and the parents and the volunteers and everything going on. That really impressed me. That's the reason I wanted to do this project. So when I sat down and planned the project, I wanted to make sure I captured what I refer to as the reality of Acing Autism Palm Beach. I wanted to have images, I wanted to have photographs that would reflect that dynamic interaction that I witnessed on that first day. Once I received approval to do the project, I shot for 9 months. We went frequently, and I took a lot of pictures. And I guess it was the end of the season because it gets very hot in Palm Beach during the summer. So the season came to an end, and I put the project together, submitted it to the Social Documentary Network, and it was on their website for several years. This photo that I've selected, Nehemie and Kevin, represents to me the dynamic interactions that I saw. I don't remember the lady's name who was tossing the ball in this photograph. I'm pretty sure it was not Lisa. Nehemie was an aide for Kevin. She worked for him more, or worked with him more than just during Acing Autism. And then Kevin had the diagnosis. I was watching them during this particular exercise when the person will gently toss the ball in the air and Kevin would hit it. That's how they start. Sort of like tossing a baseball up and hitting it when you first start out. And it's amazing how good these kids get at returning the tennis ball after they've been in the program for a while. But I didn't interact with any of these people while I was taking photographs. I sort of eased in and out of the areas where different pros were working with different kids. So I did not go up to these three people and say, I want to take a photograph of you doing this. I simply just eased myself into the area, and as I do with a lot of things, I watched everything through my camera. I never took my camera down from my eye. As I watched, I decided I wanted three things in this photo, actually four. I wanted to see the person tossing the ball up. I wanted to see the ball in the air. I was hoping Nehemie would do what she usually does. I wanted to see her enthusiastically encouraging Kevin to hit the ball, and then I wanted to see Kevin focusing on the ball, getting ready to hit it. I was very lucky to capture this image. It has those four elements in it. It has everything I wanted. I mean, the arm is outstretched. You can see the tension, the dynamics there, the ball's in the air. Nehemie is doing what Nehemie was always doing, clapping and encouraging Kevin to accomplish whatever task they were working on. I watched Nehemie, week after week, and I wished if I had still been running treatment programs that I could find someone like Nehemie to work for me, because she was so genuinely enthusiastic about supporting Kevin. So this image has everything that I wanted. It's got that dynamic interaction. There's muscular tension, there's focus and everything. So this image is sort of the epitome of what I was looking for many of my images in this project. And I say many of my images because I don't want to give the impression that every photo in this project is like this, has a lot of dynamic interactions. And I'm going to show you one other photo. I'll show you this photo. The boy in the back is Jack. The man in the front is Joe, his father. Palm Beach was getting hot toward the end of the season. Between activities, Jack would go over to his father and pull his father's shirt over his head and would stand there patiently till it was his turn. This image of Jack and Joe is just as much as an important image as the other images, and it's not reflecting dynamic interactions. I'm just making the point that a reality of a project, sometimes like this project, will include dynamic interactions. Other times it will reflect something else. Whenever people view this photo, this ends up being one of their favorite photos, which is fine with me because I love the photo also, even though my focus was more on capturing images like this. But in a full formal project, there's room for all types of images. What I want to do is reflect the reality of what I saw when I photographed this project. This is a project of captured images. There are no created images in this project. That's all I have to say about Nehemie and Kevin. It's all I have to say about accurately representing reality. The only thing I will add is that I remain, after all these years, a big fan of Lisa. Lisa has since moved on. She is no longer with Acing Autism. She founded and is now the CEO of her own private nonprofit organization that's entitled Serving Autism with Love. Is that correct? No, Love Serving Autism. So Lisa's new program is Love Serving Autism, and it focuses on serving kids with autism on and off the court. So if you ever have an interest in getting a non-physically involved child with autism into physical activities, check out Lisa's website, Love Serving Autism. As always, I appreciate your attention. I appreciate the fact that you remain interested in what's going on in my head when I capture images. I don't remember what the next photo is, so I won't describe that. But there will be a photo post number 10 in a couple of days. Again, I appreciate your attention. Thank you for watching.